Well, welcome back to Living with a Classic, and you probably recognize this car. The Vanden Plas Double Six Series 2 is back for an issue with the Speedo. It doesn't work. It didn't work before, so it was something we didn't fix then. But I've done a little bit of troubleshooting, and you've seen this short little clip right here. As you can see, the Speedo cable is not turning up top. So the issue is somewhere along the line, and I found it. It's down by the gearbox. So let me show you what I found. I have it on the bench, and I have some spare parts. I have a couple of these Borg-Warn 12 gearbox or transmissions laying around. So we'll have a look, hopefully try and fix it. And while we're in here, we're going to give it a service because we know the last time it was. Pretty easy to service on these cars, actually easier to service than the later GM400s. But we'll have a look at that, and hopefully we'll have a working Speedo in a little bit. We will be looking under the car in a little bit, but this is the part of the Speedo drive. So this sits in the transmission on the side, and then that starts rotating out here. And that goes into an angle here. That goes to Speedo cable. There's another angle up top, and then it goes into the Speedo. So this is from the car. You see it's snapped off in there. It should be a little cable sticking out right there. So that seems to be the issue. I am going to remove this part from the car as well, because the other half that's snapped is stuck in there. We want to make sure why this happened. It is relatively common that something like this can happen if the cable is not working as it should, but I have spun the cable by hand. It does spin very, very nicely, and I think we just have an issue with something in here binding up. It's definitely not that uncommon. You can take a little screwdriver, and if we have a look here, yeah, it is turning. So hard to see, hard to know what happened, but this is definitely not uncommon. Seen a few of these snap, either the top one or the bottom one snaps. But let me show you what it looks like under the car. It's a little tight, and then it's just these screws here. This is from I pulled these from a spare transmission I have, or a couple. But let's have a look at that. Here we are underneath. I've removed part of the transmission mount, and that's the nice thing on these. You can remove this part of the mount that goes between here and over there without disturbing the big spring on the Borg-Warn 12. You can't do that on the later cars. I also did this because the exhaust is touching a little bit in the back, so we're going to readjust the exhaust on that side. Right up in there is the Speedo drive. So you see that little piece of metal snapped off in there. That's what we need to get out. So I'll remove those two screws, or those bolts I mean, and we'll get that out and see if it's savable, if we can just get it out of there, or if I replace it with a spare one that I have. There we go. Here's what it looks like. It's just a shaft that's gone out. And actually, no, that's just because it has a scroll on it. It looked like it was bent, but it's not. So that is stuck in there. I'll try and get it out, but most likely I will replace this, and I'll replace the angle drive with two that I know are good for my used transmission, so it doesn't snap again. But you could probably just get a new angle drive, but since I don't know what happened, we'll replace both. Scrap that. We won't. They don't have the same teeth count. So that's a good thing to have a look at. I will pull that out of there and use the angle drive that I know is good from this one. But you see, they don't have the same teeth count. These are the same, but it looks a little rusty and crusty on the outside, so I'd rather not use that one. That's interesting. Different teeth count. These are from cars of the same age. Pretty much, I think that's from 75, that's from 75 as well, so that's very odd. I ended up pulling out the snapped piece of cable from this angle drive, and it looked a lot like just like a Speedo cable. So I went out to a parts car I have, and I cut a bit of a old Speedo cable, And I made that piece there that goes in there, and that fits on here really nicely. And remove that screw, shot some lubrication in there. All of it moves really nicely now. So we'll try and mount it on the car and put it in gear and see first if we have the Speedo cable spinning up top. And if we do, we'll hook up the Speedo again and put the interior back together. I've only pushed the exhaust together a bit, so this could be loud. Give it a little bit of choke. And we're in neutral. Okay, have a look at that right there. At the end of that cable starts spinning when I put it in drive. Oh yes. Perfect. Let's put it in neutral. See what happens in reverse. That works as well. Just want to put it in drive and just give it a little bit of gas. Make sure it doesn't snap when you spin faster. Yeah, we went into third gear there, I felt, so pop that in neutral. So that is definitely working. Now I'm going to have a look at the drive up here, lubricate that, put this together, and hopefully the Speedo works. And there we go. It's working. Let me give it a little bit of throttle here so we should see it increase. Yeah, working as it should. Perfect. Alright, that's it for this video. A little bit shorter, but just some troubleshooting, sort of seeing what's going on. I think it's always easiest to start up top with a Speedo issue. Is the cable spinning at all? Cable spinning, alright. Something else, cable spinning not, move on until you found the brake. So it was down there in transmission. That's all fixed now and it should be working fine. I also serviced the transmission while I was in there, so I'm going to take this thing for a little bit of a test drive and just make sure the fluid level is correct. The Borg Warner uses type F, so I use Castrol TQF. I think that works really well. It's a sturdy transmission. The later ones are smoother shifting, but the Borg Warner 12, they're really sturdy old units. Anyways, I hope that you like this thing and that you like seeing, the customer cars I have in the shop. And whenever I come across something interesting like this, I try to film it for you guys. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.